Yes, of course. Thank you. I actually was just thinking to myself that I feel so resourced that I'm just wondering if, well, I'm sure that what I will talk about now is very important information as well. But I have to say already, from this morning and listening from Reggie, listening to yourself, I myself already feel resourced. So thank you. Thank you for that. So I'm going to talk about resources. You know, Raymond just spoke about how we connect to our own inner resource when we're in trauma. And I'm going to talk about how connecting actually to your external resources and how that can really support you in times of stress. And I'm also going to show you on my screen in a minute, I'm going to show you what it actually looks like. So you have a good vision as well, because as I'm explaining it, it's very important for you to almost visualize as if you were doing the same thing. So I'm going to show you what this looks like, the resource mapping process. And it's an exercise you can do with your colleagues and you can do it with your family. So please feel free to do that. And I'm hoping you all got a piece of paper and a pen. So I'm going to give you some time when I'm finished to actually sit with a pen and paper and do it and to see how this resources you. So let me just share my screen. Hold one moment. Let me just share. No, why it's not. Today doesn't seem to be our technical good day. Okay, there we go.
That's beautiful.
Right, beautiful. Okay, so this looks, it's a map, probably doesn't make much sense, but there I am in the pink. And I want you to imagine these are actual people. So there I am standing, next to me is my husband, and he is a great resource. And I want you to notice, so what I've done in this picture, this is about understanding and exchange. And the point behind this is to really reflect on how many people are you resourcing and how many people or even aspects or elements in your life are you being resourced by that you're bringing in. So in my picture, it's actually fairly balanced. And what I've noticed when I run this exercise with teachers is I'll have like 50 people in front of them that they are resourcing and that they are supporting. So when I talk to resourcing, I mean supporting. And then behind them, they can't really think. There's like one or two people. And then after a longer conversation, they start to realize there's actually more people that are available and elements for resourcing than what they have been aware. So this is really about making yourself more aware of what are the resources that you can bring into your life that can help you to feel supported enough to not burn out and continue to support those that are in front of you, that you are supporting. And I just want to, it's one of we call it the 4 orders of love, when we talk about the aspects of around this work that we in systems. What do systems need? And they're 4 orders. But this actually refers to exchange. So when you go into your own, when you're doing your own reflection, I want you to think about some of your most important relationships and what is the exchange like? And are you giving more than you are receiving at the moment? And that is an alarm bell. So if that is the case, I want you to give yourself a moment and really think, who and what else in my life can I bring in that will resource me even more? And, you know, I know from my own family and colleagues that, you know, we were brought up to believe, well, I was, that I must only be giving. I shouldn't be taking from anyone at all because, well, that could make me look weak or it's not right. That's not what God wants from me. God wants me to be giving, you know, to be a giving person. And, you know, if you think about it, if there's actually a certain arrogance, sorry, there's a dog next door to us that's barking, apologies. But if you think about it, if you are a person who is always giving and not receiving, number one, obviously you're not going to feel that well resourced. But the other aspect behind that is and the arrogance that I say is like, are we good enough to give? And other people, we're not seeing them as good enough to give us. You actually empower people by allowing them to give to you. You're actually giving them a sense of self-worth. And what you're really saying is, I value you enough for you to hold me and to actually give me back. Just the same way as other people are allowing you to give to them. And I want you to really hold that thought at the end of the session when I do a visualization. But what I want to, I'm just going to explain quickly so that you go into and just sit on your own for 5 minutes and draw your own map in your books. But right in front of me, I've got my 3 children, Mark, Samantha, and Brett. These are my 3 kids. And you can see that I've actually put them closest to me. And because they are in relationship much closer. And then just slightly in front is ECL, because ECL is the organization that I founded, and I feel a responsibility, and I'm resourcing them. And then I have other clients, coaching clients, and then YPO is another organization that I support, that I do work for. So these are all, and there's a lot of people within those organizations. And then I've got the lady who works for me at home. She's been in my family for 60 years. And actually, funny enough, I could probably move her over there because she also gives me support, although she's so old now that she's become like my gogo. And she doesn't really work anymore. So she just lives in our home. And then, of course, behind me, I have my mother, and she's the closest to me. And there you can see my father in the far corner. He's passed when I was 12 years old. But actually, even though he's no longer around, I have him on my shoulders. I have him in every part of it. I mean, when I'm really stressed, I think about him, and I often think to myself, I wonder what he would do in this situation. I have such utmost respect for him and love. And then I have very close friends that are exceptionally supportive. And then I've got Raymond right behind there, because Raymond does give me a lot of support, particularly when it comes to ECL, but even as a friend. And there's Reggie and Abigail, who are my ECL resources. And then, of course, very important, I don't know why I put it so far away, is my religion and my spirituality. I do quite a lot of prayer, and I'm very connected to God. And that is it's a huge resource. So I'm actually going to put that over here. And so you can see already, while I'm talking to myself, how I have moved all my resources around. But these remain stable, those that I am resourcing. And probably if I sat here for another 5 or 10 minutes, I would think of many other resources. And I could name my closest friends who are exceptionally resourceful. And in fact, one that I didn't even put, which is so important, is my sister. So who's an exceptionally good resource. But now I would put her here because I also resource her very often. So she actually goes next to me, and she's slightly younger, so I put her there. But she, so that's what my little map looks like. And actually, when I look at it now, I can breathe out. And even though I know I have a lot of people to support, I have that support that I'm aware of behind me. And I can tell you that 10 years ago, I wouldn't have drawn it like this. I probably would have had like 3 people behind me. So you're welcome. I just want you to have this image in I'll reshare it when you go in. I just want to stop sharing for a moment. And of course, if there's any questions, you're welcome to put that also in the chat. But what I want you to do now is I think we've got already, actually take 10 minutes if you need to. Normally we would have put you in breakouts, that's what we had planned, but we're in a webinar and there's a lot of you. So just sit with your book and draw yourself a map and just have a conversation with yourself about, make a note. You can draw circles, you can draw squares, and make a note of who are you resourcing the moment, or how many people. Look what that looks like. Sit back and actually breathe that in, and then start behind you to place your actual resources. And just see what, there's a different feeling in your body when you do that.
So, so now the teacher in me, or maybe the school teacher in me, says, now don't just now not do it now. Now you really must do it. And so so while you're doing the exercise, I want you to almost imagine to yourself how you're getting back into that resilient zone as you're doing the exercise. And it's a felt experience. So it's really only by really doing the exercise that you, as you add those resources, that you start feeling something happening inside you. And you start feeling your body relaxing and getting into that resilient zone. So it's a 10, you gave this time to listen to the exercise. And now this is an opportunity in a way for you to actually take from us. So take from us and do the exercise and really see how it does actually make you feel more resourced and more resilient. So if you needed to hear that, then I'm happy. And if you didn't need to hear that, then please ignore what I've just said. Thank you. So just to get clarity, so we'd like you to do the exercise now. So just take a moment, give yourself 5 minutes to do it down, and then Janet will take you through she'll conclude the exercise so that you'll be able to consolidate what you've learned. And then we'll go into questions and answers.
Before we get ready for the final visualization. And there's some questions, and I know we do have place for questions and answers. So, but the one that's important, because it's to do with the map, and I see Ray did answer it, is if there's somebody you feel equally resourced with, that'd be next to you, just like I did with my husband. I put him slightly behind me, but almost next to me, and my sister as well. So people you feel that you have an equal, in different times, that's fine, but that feels like an equal relationship. So it's very important also to, I think, make people aware in those relationships if you feel that you're giving too much. When you do that in one relationship, then very often that relationship doesn't work out, and one of the people in the relationship leaves if there's too much of you giving and nothing of the other giving back. So these are just all, what we're talking about is the tools of awareness. And then somebody asked, how do we know if we're resourced? You can feel it in your body. You'll know in your life if you're feeling stressed, burnt out, you need more resourcing. Lastly, because of and we're going into this meditation now, I want you also to be aware of the resources you reject. So they are probably the biggest resources. And what I mean by that is very often family members. I so often have women come to me and say, please, won't you help me? I don't want to be like my mother. But I have to say, your mother is your greatest resource because she is the person who gave you life. So, and for me, the biggest wisdom that I ever took from my teacher in Germany that has really changed my life and did change my life was, I said to this man, I don't see my mother as a resource. I'm always supporting my mother. I've supported her since I was 12, because I've always just been, how arrogant of me. And I didn't realize it then. But, he said that woman gave you life. It's the biggest gift anyone can give. And when you look at your parents, as you do as any individual, there's their soul, which is pure. And then the other part, which is relating to their ego, which is the part that they experienced. And as they experienced it, very traumas in their life, as Raymond was talking about earlier, they had such hectic experiences, how that something in there, they develop an inner narrative that somehow comes through us. And I loved what Raymond said. They survived, and we know how to survive through our parents. So I want you to really hold that thought. Even if you don't, your bad relationship with a parent just means that there's some kind of resistance going on. And if one can just bow beautifully in your mind's eye to your parents, that is freeing you, because they give you life. And when we can take that life freely from them, then we can be free and we will feel free. Okay, so we've got a few more minutes to just sit in a comfortable position, everybody. And then we're going to be able to have questions and answers after. So just get yourselves into a comfortable position. And you can close your eyes or not, just as we did earlier. Put your hands on your lap, your feet on the ground, and breathe. Just imagine that you're breathing right now. Take a big, deep breath in. Place yourself in a beautiful place. I want you to imagine in your mind's eye, if it's the bush or the sea, but somewhere that really feels safe and beautiful. Just like peaceful. And then I want you to imagine now, sitting just back behind you is your mother and your father. And their entire family. And then to your right and your left, all the resources that you just noted down. All the people, the elements in your life that support you. And in front of you are all those people that you are currently supporting. And then I want you to have an image of leaning back to your parents, grandparents, and all those resources behind you. And now I want you to imagine all those people in front of you that you are resourcing, and they're leaning back on you. And as they lean on you, you continue to lean further back on your ancestors and all the resources behind you. And feel that they put their hand on your shoulder. And then you put your hand on the shoulders of those that you are supporting. Taking a deep breath. And just see how that feels in your body now. As you take your own resources in through your body, and so it flows to those that you are resourcing, and they feel your strength coming through them. Even stronger because you have taken your own resources. Now they can breathe and feel strong because you can breathe and feel strong. And when you see your parents now, you see everything about them and how they are And with everything that they come into this world, you take freely from them. With everything, you don't wish that anything that they should have been any different. They are the only parents for you. They are the best parents for you. And you are the best parents for your children, the best teachers for your children. And when we know this, the love can flow through us. The love can flow through us to them. And then we are proud. And most of all, we become grateful for being given the gift to be able to hold this place of educating the future that will come towards us.